Hi guys, long time no chat. I am back home. As you can see, I'm actually back in my old room upstairs because I prefer it and it feels good being home here. I have been kind of MIA. For those of you who don't know, my appendix bursted in the middle of second semester, so things really set me back quite a bit, and then I feel like bad news comes in threes, so I had to deal with just like a lot of family stuff. I did lose my grandmother recently, who was like my best friend, so things have been a bit hard, but I am ready to just get back in the groove of things. I am going into my junior year, which is super exciting, so I decided to just like put on my Instagram story any questions that you guys may have about SCAD. And so I'm gonna go ahead and answer those for you guys. My siblings, half of my siblings are here, half of them are on the West Coast. We're about to go meet the rest of my siblings in the West Coast. So I'm currently packing. Yeah, that's the situation right now. So I'm gonna like sit you guys down and try to pack. Okay, we are sat down on the floor and I'm just gonna go ahead and start answering questions. So it says, I'm planning on transferring to SCAD as an upperclassman. How do you find off-campus housing? Off-campus housing has been a huge question by you guys. I would have said 2 years ago it was a lot easier. It was also a lot cheaper. I don't know. I would say right now the market's quite awful, but it may change in like a couple of months. So hopefully by the time you're coming it's better. Just look up off-campus student housing. You'll have some companies that come up that will help you, but other than that, like almost every property manager knows that they're probably going to rent out to a SCAD student at least once, so I wouldn't be worried about that at all. And you just let them know basically like what your major is, stuff like that. You just show them that you're responsible enough to be renting out from them. It's really not an issue. Definitely get roommates, but if you want to live alone, there's several apartment buildings. They all have great facilities, so they are going to be priced higher, but also like on-campus housing is totally fine. Like the upperclassmen housing at Victory Village is really nice, and they have apartment style suites and everything, so that's always a good backup. What core classes do you take and how many? So we are not like a general school. Our core classes aren't really like chem or anything like that. I had to take art history, 2 drawing classes. All these classes, like how many you have to take really depend on your major. For me, I'm fashion marketing, so I only had to take like 2 drawing classes instead of 3, but some people only have to take 1 drawing class. And then I had to take like color theory or 3D design, and what else did I have to take? Oh, just design 1, which everything has to do with some form of communication in the art world, which is really interesting, and obviously because they're like helping you plan out for a creative career. I loved all my core classes. For English, you usually do public speaking classes or some form of like communication again, not really like literacy. You can take it as an elective though if you would like. And I had to take like 1 math class, but most people test out of those. You can take a social behavior science or math. You don't take both. Or if your major requires it, then maybe you have to take both, but I didn't have to. I definitely recommend just getting like your AP credits if you have any sent over as soon as possible. But they really only take up about 3/4 of your freshman year, and then you jump right into your major classes, which is so nice. Favorite thing about living about Savannah. I never get bored of Savannah. I absolutely love Savannah with all my heart. I feel like I'm always finding something new to do. I'm always meeting new people. That is also because I have Blue down there with me, so walking a dog helps. People want to approach you all the time. It is a super dog friendly town. You have the park right there. It doesn't feel too city, but like even though we are a city campus, like we don't have like a locked off campus, but like our lawn is like Forsyth Park, and you'll always find SCAD students there. I just love everything. It's one big community, and they love the college students, like the people that are actual residents down there. It's not like a weird like rivalry or like, oh, they're invading us, blah blah blah. It's so nice. And then obviously you're 15 minutes from the beach, and the food in Savannah is so good. It's also pretty international, which is great. Is it hard to find good off-campus housing right now? Yes. where to live off campus, I would suggest living at the top of Forsyth, between the top of Forsyth Park and the river. I wouldn't go above like 31st Street. I lived on 37th and learned the hard way. What's my favorite coffee spot? Oh my god, I always try to go to a new coffee shop whenever I am like studying. I love doing that. Blue and I will go to a coffee shop and we'll either work outdoors or inside. Most of the time it's always like SCAD students operating the coffee shops, obviously, which is really nice. But I would say favorite coffee is Black Rifle Coffee. Don't get misled by the name. It's amazing. It's right on the river, and my roommate works there, so my roommate, best friend, same thing. But yeah, they are amazing. I absolutely love them, and their iced milk latte, so good. Definitely recommend. Get like a Liberty Bell if you go. It's super good. Like aesthetic coffee, I would probably recommend Franklin's Coffee. And then study vibes, I recommend either Savannah Coffee Roasters or Foxy Loxy. Both are super good. Yeah, like just to chill. I love doing work at coffee shops. If you want like a friends vibe, go to Gallery Espresso. They like have all this eclectic furniture and like it makes it so cozy, and I think they are open the latest out of all of them. So that worked out well. And Foxy Loxy turns into like a little campfire at night with like s'mores, and you can do wine and cheese, and also has tacos. It's so random. The food is so good in Savannah. I like have to drop my list of like favorite restaurants. How much do you get to know and work with SCAD professors? That is a great question. So I would say your foundation professors, because you are like in a seminar class, your classes are going to be bigger. Now those of you who go to state school, take this with a grain of salt. Your seminar classes are like 35 people. That's big at SCAD. Here it obviously, for most schools, that's not big. It's like 200 people minimum. But yeah, so I mean, you can get to know your seminar like core professors if you really want to. I had a great drawing professor and mentor. I loved my design teachers. But definitely the best relationships I've made have been with my major professors, because like you only have about 10 to 15 people in every class, which is so nice. And just like make the effort to put yourself out there. Like at the end of the day, like at SCAD, they are your connection to the industry you want to be in. So like make that effort. Show them that you care about their class, about your work. They are constantly wanting to give you ideas, which is so nice. And just like not forcing you, encouraging you to collaborate with your peers and people outside the class, collaborating with them. So far I've just like, I have a professor who's near and dear to my heart, who I absolutely adore. He has made me absolutely love my major even more, which I didn't think was possible. I've seen such a personal growth in my personal identity, branding, like what I do for SCAD. Like I am creating my personal brand, and just like my views on the industry and how I want to approach it, what I want to do, like my enthusiasm with creative direction within the fashion industry and where else I can apply it. So if you're in fashion marketing or beauty and fragrance, definitely take Stephen White. He is going to be your holy grail at SCAD. He's amazing. And the people I've met in those classes, I mean, they're just like, they're so cool, and I love working with them. We have such a great time. I executed 2 of my favorite projects this past quarter, and it has just, I mean, you can go ahead and look at my portfolio Instagram account. It's called With Love AC, and you can just see how much I love what I do there, which is so nice. But yeah, that really emphasizes how you develop these close relationships with your professors, because you're probably gonna have them more than once, because like majors are so intricate. But yeah, and if you don't like one of them, try to talk it out, try to meet with your advisor, and like take it from there, because like these professors have been hired for a reason. They're really good. I mean, I've definitely had difficulties like with professors in the past, but like we've worked it out and it's for the better, and they made me like better at what I do now, so that's great. I feel like that's like what we're at school for. How is the academic environment between students? Like supportive, collaborative, or competitive? I would say it's all 3. Mainly collaborative, because projects have to be based with several people. Like obviously as a creative director, I would love to do many things at fashion shoots, but like I literally can't do photography or videography. I can tell them how I want it to look, but like that's about it. So I've met some amazing photographers, videographers. I've met amazing models, stylists. Yeah, so it's super collaborative, but at the end of the day, like, you're creating this project, but like someone else might be creating the same exact project just like through their own eyes, and at the end of the day you have to prove, like, as if you're proving to a brand why yours was better, which is scary, but you learn a lot. I feel like at the end of each project I meet like so many new people, and then I view their project and I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much more sense of why you did that, like I should do that next time. Supportive, yeah, I mean, find your group of friends and hopefully they support you. I feel like that's one thing people don't tell you about college. You're gonna go through like 5-6 friend groups your freshman year until you really find your people. It takes time. We're all growing. We're in our 20s. Like, you're trying to figure yourself out and let that happen. What is the party scene? So SCAD, like I said, is a city campus. We are not very much, like, we don't have fraternities or sororities, so there aren't going to be as many like house parties and stuff like that. If you're underage, because you're definitely going to need it. Usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, people are out on the town. You're either going to underground lounges, or you're going to karaoke bars or live music bars or just regular clubs. Yeah, that's definitely the vibe, but also at the same time, like, I know a lot of people who don't drink and they still go out and they have an amazing time. Like, you are in such an authentic city that, like, people are constantly, you're meeting new people. There's tourists all the time. There's 2 military bases nearby, so you're meeting a lot of those guys. It's always a fun time. Like, just find your group, feel safe, never walk alone at night, and you're gonna have a really good time, I promise. Again, like, the food makes it all better too. How much time do you spend per class outside of class? That is a really good question. So SCAD's on a quarter system, and we take 3 classes a quarter. It is so nice because you're usually taking 2 studio classes and 1 lecture, or 2 lectures, 1 studio. And your studio classes are going to take you a long time, like a lot of homework time outside of class, because they're all hands-on, obviously, at least most of the time. Lecture classes, on the other hand, I don't think I put in as much work, but that's also just because, like, that stuff, like those lecture classes usually come pretty easy to me, which is nice. You just need to make sure that you are time managing. I would say my studio classes, I'm working on each of them at least 2 hours, at the least 3.5 hours Monday through Thursday, and then at least 2.5 to 3 hours Friday through Sunday. So you need to be dedicated, but it's very much a work hard, play hard kind of place. You're gonna get a lot of work. You're gonna need to learn to time manage. You're gonna need to love your work to get it done right. But then you have to cut yourself off at some point. I mean, there's some students that definitely sleep in buildings till like 3 a.m. and then head home after. But time management, balance your social life, still go out no matter, even if that studio project is due like next Monday and it's Saturday night, finish it on Sunday. You need to give yourself a break. Mental health comes first at the end of the day, and I think a lot of people struggle with that when they do go to SCAD, because they don't realize how much work it is actually going to be. But again, if you love your major, you love your work, it's not going to feel like a chore. How much creative liberty do you get? I would say as you get higher up in your major classes, the more creative liberty you get, which is so nice. Beginning of my sophomore year and end of my freshman year, I would say there were a bit more restrictions, which, like, you can get crabby about, but then you're like, oh, that's why you had me do it that way. But then, like, my latest project for my fashion marketing class, like, I was literally told, like, I just had to make it, like, fashion editorial based, and I had to do with something, like, a concept regarding real world problems, and, like, from there on out, it was all mine to choose, and, like, how I wanted to lay it out, if I wanted to do a video, if I wanted to do, like, a 40-page spread, like, what kind of fashion I wanted to choose and what kind of models I wanted and so forth. So, like, that's a lot of creative liberty. Like, you're on your own time frame and everything. So I would say definitely once you're hitting mid-sophomore year, you are getting all the creative liberty possible. So maybe other majors would have something different. I can ask. I know my roommate, who's an illustration major, she gets, again, more of like a concept layout, but like her creativity has to like spawn from herself, but it has to meet the criteria still. So Accommodations, how do they make sure your requirements are fulfilled? So we have like an entire accommodations building. I personally have had a good experience with them. They've helped me with making sure Blue is there for a service dog. I did have a 504 in high school. That should transfer over pretty easily to any college you go to. Specifically at SCAD, like accommodations are very much normal and professors have to abide by them, and then if they don't, like, go ahead and tell your accommodations counselor, they'll handle it. But at the end of the day, like, it really shouldn't be an issue. Like, I have 50% extended time on things. I get to eat in class because of my disease. If I need to miss class, like, then I have like room to make it up, stuff like that. But yeah, super accommodating. I wouldn't worry about it. Just make sure you have all the paperwork that you need. What is the transportation like around campus? So I have a car myself. If you live on the East Coast and you're able to get your car over here, I highly recommend that, because otherwise it's the bus system isn't super reliable. But Savannah is also so walkable. You can get from the top of the park to the river probably in less than 45 minutes. At least like when I'm walking Balloon, it's like a brisk walk. Walking from class to class, I usually only have one in-person class a day and then one online, so I'm not doing like that back and forth. I give you half an hour if you do back-to-back classes. Yeah. So that's when the bus and your car may be great, but then a lot of people ride bikes. So how spread out is the campus? Again, it's a city campus. Basically all these historic buildings have been preserved on the outside and renovated on the inside. They are all equally beautiful. It's kind of insane how pretty they are. But spread out, I would say no building is really more than 20 minutes from each other, and like never 20 minutes driving. Like if you're driving, each building is at the most 10 minutes, and like that's with traffic. But like Savannah's pretty small. It's just like, it seems like a lot when you're downtown, but it's really not. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. You do really, like, even though we don't have like a closed off campus, like you feel like you're on a campus. Like Savannah downtown is your campus, and you'll learn to embrace that. And if it's not your vibe, it's not your vibe, but that's okay. Average amount of students in class, like I was saying before, say roughly 10 to 20 in major classes, and then 25 to 35 in core classes. What are some amenities? Oh, our amenities are so good. Our gym is freaking stunning. We have two gyms, one that's like more of like a robust weightlifting kind of gym. Like my roommate prefers that one. I prefer the like little machine one, because like the machines tell me what to do. But like the one that I go to, it has machines, and then we have two studios, a Pilates studio and a yoga studio, and both those studios offer classes, so you get free gym classes through your tuition. I love doing aerial yoga, but they also do things that are like very similar to CrossFit. They have Pilates classes, they have yoga classes, there's weightlifting classes, endurance classes, there's like everything under the sun, Zumba classes, and then we have an entire spin studio, so like you get your own personal soul cycle, which is really cool. People love that. And then attached to it, like we have like a smoothie bar, which is really fun. And then also like so the freshman complex is completely fenced off, so you are very safe. You have a security guard that you have to like go through to get in and out of this campus. You also have your dining hall literally in this fenced off area, and you also have a pool, and the pool is so nice. It has its own like 2 outdoor rec rooms, amazing lounge chairs and everything. The pool's great, it's a decent size. And then obviously your dorm buildings surrounding it, and different like lawns and chairs and stuff like that. And then obviously you have access to all of the studios that you need, like photo studios, film studios, and everything as being like a student there. You also get any Adobe platform for free, which is really amazing because Adobe suites get super expensive. Love having Adobe. And you get to like rent out cameras if you're like a photography or film major, which is awesome. You may be able to do it, not as that, I don't know. You have printing studios, stuff like that. There's about 5 dining halls that I know of. I know one of them has like 3 sections to it, so Boathouse is like really good. It has 3 different food sections, which is great. Can you have a car freshman year? Yep, you have a garage under your dorm and that's where you park. It's great. Food and dietary restrictions, yep, you just like, if you have a meal plan, you just let them know and they are great with it. I have a nut allergy and I was dealing with celiacs for a bit, so I definitely like just let the kitchen know and we worked around it together. I was also a COVID year, so it's a little hard, but yeah. LGBTQ on campus, love it. As you know, we are an art school, so I would say it is very open and everyone feels very safe. There's a lot of activist groups. You're just always gonna find a way to fit in. It's amazing. The community is so great. I couldn't speak more of it, really. And what are your broad options? Lastly, that is what I'm dealing with currently. Unfortunately, our Hong Kong campus shut down. You can go on short excursions, but you can't do like semester abroad there. We do still have a campus in Lacoste, France, which is beautiful. It's in the south of France. For those of you who don't know, I would say it's about an hour from Nice. It's stunning. You live in chateaus basically for a quarter. You go usually when your major goes, so fashion marketing is in the fall, but they always provide like short excursion travels if you want to do that during our breaks, because so like our break, for instance, is super long. So for instance, like our winter break is from the week before Thanksgiving to second week of January, so it's so nice. But they provide like travel excursions if you want to do that then. So basically, if you want to go somewhere else abroad, just go ahead and try to see like your university credit exchange options. But yeah, otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will get back on track with everything super soon. I feel like I say that all the time, but you know what, actually I think I am on track. I am on track for like my lifestyle right now and how it's working for me as a college student and a dog mom, and also just like figuring myself out in my 20s. But please go follow me on like TikTok, Instagram to like keep up on everything day to day. But yeah, I hope this was helpful and I love you guys.